Peace, my name is DJ Deadeye. I'm a DJ for ST The Squad, and probably know the biggest artist I work with out of my clique is Terminology. I've been working for him for about 10 years. Also, I've DJed all over the world for AZ, Red and Meth, MOP. Other than that, I'm a father, you know what I mean? I've been living on, well, I don't live here now, but I've been on this block for about, probably like 25 years. You know what I mean? Seen people come and go. You know what I mean? We're in the law right now.
Well, being out here, it's such an eclectic, mix of people. It's it's 98% Hispanic. But coming up, it was like Italian, Irish, Spanish, black, white, you know what I mean? So, all that from the city kind of influences you in a way because it's such a little city and it's so populated. And I kind of took those influences, mixed them with the influences from when I was growing up until when I became an adolescent. And from there, I kind of just started, wanting to do this in a way, this hip hop shit, you know what I'm saying? First experience with music, man, it's probably just being, 2, 3, 4 years old in the crib with the parents, you know what I mean? They was bumping salsa, merengue, that was before bachata and all that, perico ripiao, all that shit. And then, the gradual progression, to English music when I moved to America from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. I started messing with all that New Jack Swing stuff, all that R&B, with the hip hop feel to it, in about 86, 87, and 88, 89 started progressing into hip hop, EPMD, Black Sheep, Nice and Smooth, Velvet DeVoe, Boyz II Men, all that shit, you know what I mean? That was my first early experience with American music, you know what I mean? And I just fell in love with that, and it just kind of took me from where I was and all my little influences coming up, and it brought me to where I wanted to go in a certain way into my adult life. Coming up in the city, there was a lot of big DJs out here. Back in the day, there was Playground Records. When I was real small, DJ 40 was doing his thing back in the day. And then coming up when I started high school, it was Jera and Urkel and Sun. And then, Static Selector came out of left field, you know what I'm saying? And then, it was just that little progression. And then I decided that I wanted to do that. So in high school, I started, I bought a turntable, direct drive shit, fucking tape player, CD player, trying to make little pause tapes for my peoples, you know what I mean? And then from there, it just kind of progressed, I took it to the next level in a way. I ended up going to buy turntables and started making little tapes for my peoples, playing in the car, going to parties, going to high school parties and shit. And then my junior year, I bought some turntables off my man that was going to school with, my man Harry and shit. I bought some Gemini, belt drive joints, whatever, just to start off. And I was on those for a year, and then I got a little shitty part-time job to help pay for some real turntables. I was working at I forget where, I think it was Christmas tree shops for 3 months. You know what I mean? Just to get the good $1,500 to go buy a Vestax and a couple 1200s. Cop them shits, quit the next day, and just was in the basement, trying to make tapes and working on cuts and working on routines and back around the back spins, rock rated style, all that, you know what I mean? So it was a little progression, but in when I was real young, I realized that that's kind of what I wanted to do, was something in music. And with people, man, they see a lot of shit on TV and they hear a lot of shit on the radio, and they think that's it. It's just that, you know what I mean? And there's so much that goes into this, and there's a million DJs out there, a million artists, and a million rappers, a million singers. But who's really out there doing stuff, you know what I mean? Really, when somebody sees you outside of your city or state, do they really recognize who you are? Do they, acknowledge who you are or whatever? So it's it's real tough. It's probably the hardest job because you don't really get credit like that unless people really notice you on stage wilding out. And usually the scapegoat, you know what I mean? If if the sound goes out or something, you know what I'm saying? They're just looking at you it's part of you, you know what I'm saying? It could be the sound guy, it could be anybody, you know what I mean? So in a way it's cool, and in a way it's you gotta really be strong to be a DJ, for real. So it depends on what you do too. If you're a club DJ, then it's not necessarily that. It's more you how you rock a crowd, how you rock the party or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But as a show DJ, you have to like show and prove in a way. You either have to have mad skills or be able to support the artist that you're DJing for like to the fullest in terms of like, you know, knowing his vocals and hyping them up and cutting the fade at the right times and making the crowd, you know, crowd participation is very key. So it depends on what you're doing, but definitely it's not an easy thing. It's probably the hardest job to have, you know what I'm saying? Other than being an artist right in front of the crowd.
I want to do something different. I don't want to keep doing all these mixtapes for the hood and just, you know, be content with that. So I started putting together somewhat of like me and Term kind of wanted to put together like a compilation album kind of thing. So I started gathering beats from you know, a couple dudes that was real cool at the time. Arabian Night from Wu-Tang. He did Fame for GZA, and he did a bunch of stuff on GZA's second album. He did Publicity. He did Breaker Breaker. You know what I mean? So I got up with him real cool. We got real cool. And I was like, yo, what's up, man? Let me get a beat so I can, I'm working on this radio show. At the time, I was working on a radio show. So then I was like, I took the beat and I sat on it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just build this from now for the next fucking 6-7 years. I'm gonna build up the best beats, the best artists I could get that fuck with me. And I put it all together, and like in 2011, I put out Substance Abuse, my first album, debut album. It's all over the world, iTunes, Amazon. And once that came out, I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I want my legacy to be. Is putting out amazing albums and crushing stages all over the planet. So I think, you know, in a way I got that accomplished because, you know, I put out a very good product and I've been touring since '04 everywhere. So it's going real well, man.
Do I feel young or feel age? I was born 11 days after Lil Wayne. So I feel young money, cause M Pun and J Blue when they mid-20s. And not a rapper could sun me. Vito Corleone or Calogero and Sonny had my clothes all